I wanted to share the story of my biggest insecurity and how I eventually got over it. And I also wanted to just maybe teach you some tidbits and give you some advice on how you can overcome something that you're insecure about in your own life. Going from a super young age to even just a couple years ago, I would always try and keep my hair super long because I had very thick and curly hair. And then when I was 16, 17, I noticed a little bit of thinning around the temple area. And I knew this was going to happen because look, my great grandpa, he's turbo bald. Grandfather, turbo bald. My dad, extremely bald. So I knew this was going to happen. I was expecting it, but super young age, 16, I was losing a little bit of hair. I'm like, okay, that's unexpected. And as the months and the years progressed, it started to just only get worse and worse and worse. And then slowly, my hairline started to get fucked up a bit. Because I want to explain it to you because I had super long hair, but then I also had this bald spot in the middle. And I kind of got the image I was that mafia boss uncle that was bald, but then they'll slick back their hair to try and cover it up, but you can still see the bald spot. You look way better if you just shaved your head. That's what I felt like. So you can imagine me every morning after I take a shower, just me methodically trying to style my hair to cover my bald spot. And then it didn't even matter because if I was just under some very bright spotlight, it would just shine right through my hair and show my bald spot anyways. And then half the time I would just go outside and wear a hat. Even after spending like 30 minutes styling my hair, I'm like, fuck this, just wear a hat. Because I know nobody will see my bald spot if I'm wearing a hat. And I went the Finastra and Oxidor route for a couple months, but that shit's expensive. So I decided to just go buzz. Because if you go buzz, it slows down the balding, whatever. Makes the balding less noticeable because all your hair is short. It kind of conceals it, kind of. At 19, this is where I'm at. I don't know if you can see that. It looks much worse in real life, I promise. And the biggest insecurity that came from this is I'm 19 years old and this is the state of my hair. I'd always wondered to myself, is something wrong with me? Because I knew my genetics were gonna mess me up in this regard, but is my testosterone alright? Do I have like very low testosterone? Is that why this is happening? Do I have very high testosterone? Is this why? Am I that big of a G? No, I'm not. But just you're thinking, the testosterone too high maybe? Am I not eating properly? Am I not exercising enough? Is my phone too close to my bed when I go to sleep? You just go into this real autistic mind frame of just trying to figure out why this is happening to me. And then the other big thing is, what are other people going to think of me? What are my friends going to think of me? Is my family going to judge me for this? Are the strangers not going to want to talk to me anymore because of this? And it destroys your self-esteem, doesn't it? When you have something like this, I can only imagine other people who have some sort of defect, whether that be massive or very, very minuscule. It just consumes your mind and think about it 24/7, and it stops you from doing things that you want to do because you think this shortcoming of your genetic composition doesn't allow you to do the things you want to do. I get that feeling, but I'm over it now, and it wasn't easy. And the advice I'm gonna give you might not be what you're after, but it's what worked for me. I'm going to talk about two things. One's a very religious perspective and one's a very materialistic, real world perspective. You see, from a very young age, we're taught about the concept of how Allah has a plan for everybody. How everything that happens to us, everything happens around us, it's all part of Allah's big grand plan. That is the good and the bad, obviously. So if this is what Allah planned out for me, to bald at 19, then who am I to question His authority, His plan? It feels kind of cowardice sometimes to just accept defeat, but when it comes to your God, that's all there is to it. Just submitting completely to Him, no matter the outcome, no matter the circumstance. Because even if you're not religious, I'll tell you this. The happiest I am in my life, and genuinely happy and content with myself, is when I submit myself the most to my God, without exception. Because then instead of finding this unbelievable force, just trying to push up against this brick wall that won't budge at all, you just kind of accept it for what it is, and you move on with your life. And you kind of cast your anxieties onto God. So what if I'm balding? It's part of His plan. And There's nothing I can change about that. I just have to move on with my life. It might not sound appealing, maybe if you're atheistic and you're watching this video, but it really does work. But if that doesn't float your boat, I'll talk about the second thing, which is the more materialistic approach, which I took. Which is kind of, we live in a world where everything is super emotional. Even down to our world leaders, they're super emotional. Emotions are high everywhere. It's hard to make logical decisions and think about things with XYZ instead of thinking, oh, X makes me feel this way, Y makes me feel this way, Z makes me feel sad. We live in a world where it's so hard to be objective about stuff. So let's be objective about my balding right now instead of being emotional about it. Ooh, everyone's gonna judge me. Ooh. It's like, okay, I'm going bald. What benefit do I get from complaining about it? What benefit do I get by hyperfixating on it 24/7? What benefit do I get from being super insecure about it and just radiating this super insecure energy to others and the people I talk to and my friends and my family? What if I just shut up? What if I just stop being so selfish and think about myself all the time and just move on with my life and just think about, despite this thing that's happening to me, how can I make the best of this situation? Because it doesn't matter how unfair it might be that I'm balding at 19. It's not fair, 100%. But I don't get anything from just constantly thinking, it's unfair, unfair, unfair. I'm just wasting time and energy where I can be doing other stuff. Why not instead kind of own it and think, okay, this is me, this is my flaw. It doesn't matter really, because if you think about it, other people will probably not judge you as much as you think they will. And if they do judge me, I probably don't even want to be around them because they're probably shitty people anyways. So let me just shut up and move on with my life, despite the circumstances. Man, hair's overrated anyways. You have to style it all the time. You need to use all these conditioners and shampoo. You use all these styling products. Buzz cuts where it's at, lad. Come on.